Today we're talking about are ATG lunges horrible for your knees? So you've been seeing a lot in the interwebs about ATG lunges versus regular lunges and how ATG lunges, or ass to grass lunges, from the ATG group with all that fun stuff out there, it's supposed to help your knee strength. Versus there's other people out there talking about how no, you don't want to lunge all the way. It's gonna fuck up your knees because you need the glutes to be activated. Now, as a strength coach, I take what has been proven to work for my clients as well as what is in the literature. Now, without getting too crazy about it, it's all about understanding movement and how the body moves. When I do ATG lunges, I do it from a place of strengthening the quads, strengthening the muscles around the knee, the tendons and the ligaments, especially when we're doing that type of range of motion. When you're looking at that shin angle, when you're looking at that ankle mobility, you can't really do ass to grass lunges or really that full range of lunging if your foot, if your ankle is injured in any way or is limited in a range of motion. So it takes a lot to even get to that movement. I would not recommend ATG lunges for beginners who have stiffness in the feet, on the ankle, in the knee, in the hip. You need to focus on building from the ground up. Now, if you have mobility, when you do ATG lunges and it works really well, you feel good, do them. It's great. It gets movement into the tendons, into the ligaments within the knee joint, training in that range of motion, being strong in that range of motion. There's nothing wrong with regular lunges too, activating the glute, activating the hamstrings, and getting your trunk involved, your core, to maintain your upright spine while you're doing, actually either lunge, but getting more of the glute involved in the regular lunge, that's helpful too. And I would advise to start with the regular lunge first to get used to the movement pattern before going into more of an advanced ATG lunge. But does it mess with your knees? Unless you're actually aggravating a current injury, torn meniscus, slightly torn ACL, MCL, PCL, whatever, like the tendons, if your knee's jacked up and you're doing ATG lunges, yes, you're going to mess up your knees. However, if you are cleared by your doctor, by your physical therapist during your rehab saying, hey, we want you to slowly build up the range of motion here, you're cleared to go. And from a strength coach perspective, that's when I can start prescribing to my athletes, okay, let's try the regular lunge. You're good. Let's try the ATG lunge. Are you good? I feel no pain, coach. We're great. This feels great. All right. And we monitor that. And you got to monitor yourselves if you're going to do it. And I do sets of 10 first. Left, right is 1. So when you're doing a regular lunge, it's more of an upright. I mean, ATG is upright too, but people tend to lean too much with the waist and the hips, trying to like thrust. You don't want to do that, all right? So a regular lunge, all right? You get a split stance, like a split stance squat. You're taking a knee. This is how I cue. You take the knee, keep this foot flat, keep the knee in line with the toes. For this regular lunge, you usually see back straight, and you're just taking that knee right here and then coming up, all right? Notice I'm a ball of the foot here. I'm focusing on, again, getting my glutes more involved, lowering down, and then coming up, all right? From this point here, again, switch. Or switch stances, again, regular lunge. You're just taking that knee, getting that glute involved, pressing up, more like a 60-40 distribution, 60-40, okay? For an ATG lunge, a lot of people make the mistake of really pushing through the hips. You still want to keep this upright. But you want to get that knee over the toe just a little bit. You don't want to go all the way. If you have no pain, this is great. You can do this. But notice that I'm not thrusting my hips forward like this. I'm keeping the hip right. I'm stacking it right on my spine, keeping my back straight, and then coming up. So now I'm really focusing on this too, all right? You gotta have great joint integrity in the ankle and the foot and the knee to be able to do this movement correctly with control, all right? Just like this. But there's nothing wrong with it as long as you have no pain. You feel it working. You feel, because you get all these tissues where you get that tissue working in this range of motion. All right, look at this shin angle. How many times do you see the shin angle in an athletic event? You know, using legs and all that. But that's the difference between ATG and a regular lunge and how to and the difference. But is one better than the other? It really depends but from a strength coach standpoint, they each have their purpose. But yeah, if you were wondering if you should do ATG lunges and if it's bad for your knees, at the end of the day, if it feels good and you're clear to rehab and recover from, let's say, an injury, you did kind of the rehab stuff with your physical therapist, your physiotherapist, your doctor says you're cleared to go for movement and exercise, adding the ATG lunges once you are pain-free or you feel good in that range of motion and introducing it slowly, it'll actually help your knees by providing the ability to work in that range of motion, challenging the tendons and ligaments in that range of motion as long as it's pain-free, introduce more blood flow. The only way your joints actually get nutrients is through movement. So moving in that range of motion is okay as long as you're cleared, as long as it's pain-free. Notice that I'm emphasizing pain-free. You don't want to work through pain, all right? This ain't no old school ass fucking barbell, pump and iron shit. This is your knees, man, your joints. You gotta be smart with it. But at the same time, regular lunges are also a great starting point, especially focusing on the glutes, focusing on the hamstring, the quads, and developing that stability, that ground, that foundational stability to ascend to an ATG lunge. There's a lot of great stuff that goes into it, but you just gotta start at your own pace and don't ever feel like you have to reach a certain level because you saw it on social media or so-and-so's talking about it or you see your other athletes doing it. It's all at your own pace. It's progress over perfection, and I cannot stress that enough, especially for up-and-coming athletes who wanna get out there, make a name for themselves and show that they can do that. That's all great and all, but keep it consistent and keep it smart and focused because you cannot show off your talents if you're sitting there injured because you wrote a check that your body couldn't cash. This is Coach Austin from Hyper Strength and Conditioning. Follow for more. I'm trying to build this channel up. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.